Welcome to Mischief Wargaming. I'm John and this is Star Trek Alliance. The Dominion War continues as weekly Jem'Hadar reinforcements from the Gamma Quadrant arrive from the Bajoran wormhole, bolstering the Dominion's foothold on our side of the galaxy. At the rate they arrive, there's no way that the Federation and Klingon Empire will be able to defend Deep Space Nine from the inevitable Dominion and Cardassian assault. As a way to stem the tide of Jem'Hadar ships, Starfleet's engineers have devised a self-replicating minefield to place around the wormhole. Additional Dominion reinforcements will likely be stopped, but the minefield will take time to fully deploy and activate. No doubt the Dominion will make every effort to prevent this. Our alliance of captains are tasked with deploying the last of the mines, while ensuring the Dominion and Cardassians are kept at bay. There are 10 mines to deploy, spread across the Alliance ships. Once all 10 are deployed, the ships need to retreat or survive until the end of turn 12. Captain Vega's Akira class ship, the USS Yo, is armed pretty similarly to the previous mission. Reinforced shielding should make up for the weaker shields, while the combination of a dorsal phaser array and overcharged phasers should let the ship pack a punch. As usual, Captain Vega has a commander on board, and her own talent is battle hardened, letting her keep battle stations going for longer. Captain Lascelles' Intrepid class, the USS Gooding, is equipped a little differently. The ship still has photon torpedoes, but is otherwise equipped with an impulse upgrade, an emergency medical hologram, and lastly the science officer has been swapped out for a tactical officer. Lascelles' talents are battle plan and inspiring. As for the Klingons, Captain Kerr brings his Cavort class bird of prey, the IKS Gale. The ship is pretty similar to last game, with photon torpedoes, enhanced thrusters, and a helmsman. Kerr himself has the evasive maneuvers talent. Meanwhile, Captain Carve commands his Vulture class, the IKS Verkel. The cruiser is equipped with a reinforced hull, forward battery, and a helmsman. Carve's talent is cunning. Both Starfleet ships are carrying 2 mines each, letting the Klingons carry the lion's share at 3 mines apiece, since they can remain cloaked while deploying them. The Dominion forces are the same mix of Jem'Hadar attack ships and Cardassian Gallo classes. The main difference is that the Cardassians are sending their elite gulls early, while the Dominion Alpha and Beta elites won't arrive until later. The Alliance ships have to reach the back third of the board and use their action to deploy a mine. They only earn experience if all 10 are deployed. The mission begins with Jem'Hadar attack ships making their opening moves. This far away means neither can do much beyond turning to face the approaching Klingons and scanning. The Yo activates next, moving forwards and using their commander to gain a battle stations and an evade token. The Cavort pushes ahead faster, dropping their shields and engaging their cloak. The Cardassian gulls activate next, Like the Jem'Hadar, they're both too far to do much beyond turning to face the Starfleet ships. The wormhole activates, mirroring the bird of prey by pushing forward and engaging their cloak. Lastly, the Gooding speeds ahead, going on evasive manoeuvres. However, this early, there's no shots that can be made. So the Jem'Hadar move forward. This time, they have a shot on the Klingon ships, so go on battle stations. The Yo banks right, using their commander. The Gale also banks right. But uses their helmsman to make an extra left bank. The first gull acquires a target lock on the Yo, before turning to the left. The second also targets the Akira, but instead only inches forward, adding an evade token. The Vulture banks left and uses the sensor echo action to position themselves behind the Jem'Hadar. The Gooding banks right and acquires their own target lock on the second gull. However, the Intrepid is unable to fire on them. Instead, the gull opens fire on the Yo. They use their target lock to reroll some of the failed hits. But the Akira is able to dodge the incoming shots. The other gull also fires on Captain Vega, and likewise uses their target lock. The Akira has to use both of the tokens granted from the commander, but still enough shots connect that the ship loses some of its shields. Turn 3 begins with the arrival of the second wing of Dominion ships as two more attack ships join the battle. The first attack ship makes a K-turn to flip around. The second turns to the right, adding an evade token. The newly arrived third attack ship pushes forward, immediately going on battle stations. The other new Jem'Hadar ship is slower and adds an evade token. The Akira turns to the left, using the commander to add the two different tokens. The convoy class banks to the right. And deploys the first mine. Only 9 more to go. The first gull reacquires their target lock on the Yo and turns left. The second also reacquires their target lock on the Akira before banking right. The Vulture banks right, deploying their first mine. Lastly, the Intrepid turns left. Going on evasive manoeuvres. Which might have been a bit of a waste, as the ship then spends their target lock to fire their photon torpedoes to their rear at the Cardassian ship. The Gooding uses their tactical officer to re-roll some of the dice. The Gallo class is able to dodge most of the incoming blast, only losing some shields. The Gull ignores the Intrepid and fires at the Yo. They use their target lock. And the Akira loses more of their shields. Good thing they were reinforced. The Akira returns fire with their dorsal phaser array. It's weaker than their primary weapon, but it does have a 360-degree fire arc. The shots find their mark and the Gull loses the last of their shields. It's turn 4 and the Jem'Hadar try and close the gap with the Klingons. The first pushes forward, going on battle stations. The next one continues turning to get into position. The third ship goes to make a right-hand turn, but has to bank instead to avoid colliding with an asteroid. The last Jem'Hadar ship banks to the right with no issue. The USS Yo banks to the right and deploys their first mine. The Bird of Prey continues banking, deploying another mine of their own. The first Gull turns to the left to try and get into position. The second goes to make their own turn, but has to bank instead to avoid a collision. The Verghel makes a turn and deploys another mine. Lastly, the Gooding banks left, and also deploys a mine, meaning every ship now only has one more mine to deploy each. A Jem'Hadar attack ship fires on the Yo, but misses entirely. A different Jem'Hadar takes a shot at where they think the Vulture is, but the cloaked ship proves elusive. It's turn 5 and the Cardassians have some reinforcements as a non-elite Glyn arrives. After their arrival point is rolled for, it's back to the Jem'Hadar as the first attack ship banks right, going on battle stations. The second does the same. As does the third. The fourth attack ship has to slam on the brakes though to avoid a collision. The newly arrived Glyn banks left, going on evasive manoeuvres. The Yo banks left, deploying their last mine. The Bird of Prey banks left, deploying their own mine. The first Gull inches forward, gaining an evade token. While the second goes to bank, but has to switch to moving straight ahead to avoid another collision. The Verkel turns left. As it's too close to the other mines, Captain Carve can't deploy one. So instead they gain a target lock on the first attack ship. Lastly, the Gooding puts their speed to use and gets some distance, deploying their second mine. The Vulture class fires at the Jem'Hadar. Carve uses his cunning talent to turn one of the misses into a hit. The attack ship uses their battle station's token to avoid some of the incoming damage, but their shield is still knocked out and they gain a critical hit and engine room fire. The elite Gallo class takes a shot at the cloaked Cavort. Either through weight of fire or just a lucky shot, the Klingon ship takes some damage. The USS Yo uses their overcharged phasers to fire at the same attack ship Carve fired at. The attack causes a second critical hit. A console fire leaves the Jem'Hadar ship close to destruction. The Glyn fires at the Intrepid, causing the Gooding to lose half of their shields. The nearly destroyed Jem'Hadar ship goes to fire at the IKS Verkel, but the ship is equipped with a weapon battery, letting it make a single shot first. This defensive fire finds their mark and the Jem'Hadar ship is destroyed before it got a chance to fire. The next turn begins with the remaining Jem'Hadar ships making their moves. The first two go on battle stations after banking and turning to the left. The last keeps going straight, picking up a scan token as they're too far away to get a shot in. The Glyn gets a target lock on the Intrepid, before going to bank left. However, they need to change course to avoid a collision. The USS Yo banks to the left, making use of their commander. The Cavort banks right, re-engaging their cloak. The first gull turns right, second only banks right, going on evasive manoeuvres. The Verkel makes their left turn, deploying their last mine. Now that all 10 are deployed, the Alliance ships need to retreat off the board edge they started from, or survive until the end of turn 12. The Gooding makes a turn, gaining a target lock on the nearby gull. Captain Carve orders his ship to open fire on the nearby Jem'Hadar ship. The shot knocks out the Dominion shields and causes some hull damage. One of the gulls takes a shot at the Gooding. This time the shot knocks out the last of the Intrepid shields. The Yo opens fire at the gull, using their battle stations token. Captain Vega uses their battle-hardened talent to immediately replace the token. The gull uses their evade token, but they still take a hit and suffer a critical hit, a jostled navigator. The Jem'Hadar attack ships take turn to fire on the Verkel. The first uses their scan token to reduce the defense dice the Vulture rolls. As a result, the Klingon ship loses their shields, which will also prevent them from cloaking again. A follow-up shot from another Jem'Hadar causes some hull damage. Turn 7 brings the last of Dominion reinforcements, as a pair of Jem'Hadar elites arrive. The non-elite Jem'Hadar move first, with the first turning left, picking up an evade token. The next goes to bank, but needs to change heading to avoid a collision. The last one pushes forward and goes on battle stations. The Glyn goes to move forward, but needs to swerve. The Jem'Hadar Alpha turns left, going on battle stations. The Beta Elite also turns left. Also going on battle stations. The O-banks left, using their commander. The bird of prey pushes forward, and I make a mistake and use the helmsman, who wasn't ready to be used. The first gull goes to turn right, but they reposition as they leave the board. The other gull acquires the target lock on the USS Yo before needing to swerve to avoid a collision. The IKS Verkel banks right and doesn't make an action, as I thought this was the ship that needed to reactivate the helmsman. The USS Gooding banks right, reloading their torpedoes. The Intrepid then immediately fires them at the gull. Captain Lascelles' tactical officer lets some of the attack dice be re-rolled. And it's enough to destroy the Cardassian elite. The USS Yo then fires on Jem'Hadar Alpha. They use their battle stations token, as does the Dominion ship, but their shield is still knocked down to half strength. The Alpha returns fire, but the Akira avoids the shots after using their evade token. The Jem'Hadar then continue to struggle to get into position. The first two go on evasive manoeuvres. While the last can't avoid a collision, losing some of their shields in the process. The Glyn makes a left-handed turn. The Jem'Hadar Alpha banks to the left, picking up an evade token. While the Beta heads right, also being evasive. The Akira pushes forward, once again using their commander. The Gale heads to the board edge, giving their helmsman time to recover. The remaining gull banks to the left, nabbing an evade token. The IKS Verkel makes a right turn, going on evasive movers as they can't cloak anymore. while the Gooding uses their EMH and banks left. Lastly, they reload their torpedoes. The Gull opens fire on the Vulture, but isn't able to land a hit on the Klingon ship. The Yo fires their dorsal phaser array at the nearby Dominion Alpha, but the small attack ship proves too nimble to hit. The Beta takes a shot at Carv's ship, but misses. The Jem'Hadar are all bunched up in one corner, and struggle to turn and face the retreating Alliance ships. The Cardassian Glynn is also stuck in the same corner. The Alpha goes to make a K-turn, slightly repositioning as they leave the board edge. The Beta inches forward, avoiding taking any damage from the collision. The Yo continues towards the board edge at full speed. While the bird of prey makes it, escaping the board intact. The Gull has to alter course to avoid a collision. The Verghel pushes towards the board edge. While the Gooding easily escapes thanks to the Intrepid's insane speed. The Jem'Hadar Beta is the only ship with a shot, and they failed to damage the retreating Vulture. It's turn 10 and there's very little the Dominion can do to impact the game now. The attack ships all try and get into position to fire, but none of them can make it. The Glynn has to slow down a little to avoid a collision. The Alpha again has to swerve to avoid a collision. While the Beta is unable to avoid a collision, though they take no damage. The USS Yo makes it to the board edge, escaping. The Gull makes a turn, but they are far too far away to fire. Especially as the remaining Klingon ship nears the board edge. The beta makes the last shot of the game. If they're lucky enough to score the right critical hits, the Fortune could be destroyed. However, luck is not on Jem'Hadar's side, as the Klingon is able to evade the shot. The game reaches turn 11, and honestly there's no point rolling and moving the Dominion ships, as there is nothing they can do to prevent Captain Carv from taking the IKS Verkel off the board, ending the game. The Starfleet Klingon Alliance win the game. All 10 mines were deployed, and the Bajoran wormhole is now protected, stemming the weekly reinforcements from the Gamma Quadrant. There's still a Dominion presence already in the Alpha Quadrant, and the Cardassian defectors, but it's still a major victory. Each captain gains 2 experience for deploying all of the mines and surviving. Captain Vega uses 1 of her experience to increase her captain skill to 5, letting her transfer command to a new ship. The other point goes to increasing her crew level. Her new ship will have plenty of crew slots available, but we'll save that for next mission. Meanwhile, Captain Lascelles puts both of her points into her weapon level. Now that she's got a ship which has reliably been able to use torpedoes, unlike Vega's Akira class, it makes sense to upgrade the weapon loadout from basic photon torpedoes. For the Klingons, Captain Kerr uses his experience to increase his crew level. His crew level has been somewhat neglected so far, and the Cavork class has access to some interesting crew member options. It'll be a shame not to make use of them. And lastly, Captain Carv uses both of his points to increase his captain skill. Klingons only have 1 other ship they can upgrade to, and it requires a captain skill of 8 to use. Carv is still a way off, but progress has to be made at some point. And that was Star Trek Alliance. Aside from the Vulture taking some damage, I didn't really feel like the ships were in any danger. That said, the objectives haven't really required the Alliance ships to engage with the Dominion ships, besides some mostly harmless freighters. Things will change as bigger and more dangerous Dominion ships start arriving, as well as the inevitable offensive on Deep Space Nine. As always, if there's any other games that you'd like to see me check out, let me know in the comments below. The next video is the start of the second round of the Mischief Cup. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care.